Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, Becky D, live in the morning, 5 days a week at 7 a.m. All right. You guys, on my break of spring, I have been able to catch up on some social media things and just, some basic everyday public knowledge that I should keep up with on a daily basis. But unfortunately, I don't get the opportunity to due to my busy everyday life. And I got to be real. I'm shocked, but it shouldn't be. Heartbroken. Really is probably, a little too late for that. And frustrated, right? And I've already said I was frustrated the other day, but it's increased by 20. So you guys know what's going on constantly, what feels like every day now with shootings in schools. But the way we as adults have handled it is unbecoming of us. Quite frankly, I am not proud to call myself an educator right now because I feel like I haven't done anything. We do drills, and everything, and I just constantly reassure my students they're in the safest classroom. That's all I can do, because I do know that push come to shove, I have practiced, trained everything, the many different possibilities. But that doesn't take away the fear, right? That fear of what do I do? What don't I do? Okay. Now, this is going past just classroom. It's going past all of that. That fear goes with us everywhere we go in everything that we do. Okay. Growing up, especially in college, I was an advocate for many different political fronts. I never considered myself a political person. I didn't like it. Politics is very messy, as we have been seeing, and it's just downright ugly. But to continue to allow something to happen that has been brought to our attention and in our face repeated amount of times is not cool. Not for politics, not for personal life, not for anything really. And so us as a nation, we should be ashamed. Us as a body of Christ, I must say that, because 98% of the people in the United States claim some form of religion, be it Christianity or any type of other religion. Excuse me. We claim some form of religion, so we should also be ashamed. And pretty much us as basic humans should definitely be ashamed. This podcast this morning isn't to bring you down, but it's to make you aware. In college, I was a part of several organizations that made people aware of things. And sometimes it makes you feel like crap, okay? And let's just address that. Everything isn't pretty and come in a Christmas box and with a bow on it. It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. Some things are ugly, right? And it's okay. We face that and we look at it head on. We embrace it and we keep moving. So now that we have embraced it, unfortunately, we now need to not keep moving, but we need to find a solution. Because for me, when the hype was all around and, it was happening like every day, and now it's still happening every day, but just not in the area, right? Kids don't say how they are afraid to come to school anymore, right? But I recently had a student tell me, she was like, I wish we were virtual. And in the back of my head, I knew I couldn't argue it. I was like, girl, me too. Mostly so I could stay in my jammies. But it was like, dude, no, like, I really feel that way sometimes. I even noticed me not wanting to go out to certain social events because it's like, what's going to happen when I get there? Like, your mind starts racing 1,000,000 miles a second. And you're just like, why am I thinking this, right? Again, we shouldn't have to constantly live in fear. And we shouldn't, right? We should be able to live boldly and be able to be ourselves and not have to worry about, this guy was mad at the establishment and now today's, it just things like that. But one thing that we can do, okay, if you feel like you can't do anything else, if you feel like, oh, this is bigger than me, it doesn't, my word doesn't matter. Your word and your opinion does matter in this case. Reach out to your state legislative. Reach out to your local police department, just anybody, and just let them know, like, hey, like, this is an ongoing problem. Even if you don't have kids, you don't have to have kids, but just let them know, like, what is it that you all are doing to ensure the safety of the students in my neighborhood, my students, whatever the case may be, right? And then sit down and have that conversation with your partner. Sit down and have that conversation with your boss. Like, that's a part of a healthy house environment, work environment, and everything, right? Okay, in the case of an emergency where it looks as though, things are getting a little heated, what do I do? What do we do as relationship partners? Like, what is that go-to, right? Because one thing that I really wanted to do was, they changed the name of it, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but pretty much domestic violence, in response to those calls and help out in those situations. But it's seen there too. So if you're being mistreated in a relationship, now is your exit. But just sit down and have that conversation with your partner. Like, if for some reason I start to get violent, what do we do? How do we, talk about it now? Because you never know. Something can make you snap. And then the next thing you know, it's happened, right? You were mad at work and you bring it home. So try to avoid it at all possible costs, okay, you guys? Stand up for the voiceless. When you have a voice, I don't like to use certain platforms in order to do things, but then I had to check myself, literally last night, and say, why am I not? Why am I not saying something, right? I'm not a political person at all, again, but I'm a person that believes that right is right and wrong is wrong every day of the week. And the way it is being handled in our local legislators' office across the country is uncalled for and unfair. We have way too many students that we are attending funerals for than we are seeing graduate. I recently passed a school, that was actually last month now, and it was, I think, a middle school, not from the area, was just literally passing through, stopped and got something to eat. And I was sitting at the light and I was like, yo, this middle school is literally built right on top of a cemetery. And that low-key freaked me out. Maybe it was just bad location on the real estate side, but you all, as a population, we need to do something, not only for our youth, but for our future. Because if we continue down this path, it's an uncalled for war zone that we will start living in, and we need to speak up now. So this morning, if you didn't get anything else out of it, develop a plan to have those conversations with your children. It's a tough one to have. To me, it's almost tougher than having that big conversation about the birds and the bees, because you don't want to scare them, but you want to make them aware, right? Because they go to school every day. They're not dumb, and their friends are talking about it. So make sure you're having that conversation with them. Ask them, say, hey, what is your school's routine and what's in place? I had a student ask me that last year, and I told them, you're asking great questions. And to get further details, I sent them to the principal. So it's a thing. Students are asking. Just go ahead and do it. Talk to them. And y'all stay prayed up and stay safe. As always, you guys, my name is Becky D with Becky D in the Morning. I will definitely be talking with you all tomorrow morning.